Are the people of Yarra Ranges fast food snobs? It's now, we read in the papers, the first Victorian municipality to restrict fast food drive-thrus. And it's with the blessing, obviously, of the Planning Minister, the state government, Matthew Guy. That, of course, comes after the bitter but ultimately unsuccessful fight to prevent a McDonald's opening in Tacoma. Now, I don't have a problem with McDonald's or any of the fast food outlets in general, but there are little villages, communities, where they're not appropriate. Near our place, for instance, we have an outlet on a major road, which is Whitehorse Road, and I'm fine with that, but I think it'd be wrong to put one in our local little village shopping street. It'd be right out of character and very disruptive. But the issue, one of the major issues, I reckon, in all of this is, and with the fight in Tacoma, is that the local council opposed the store unanimously, but it was overruled by VCAT. The council is elected to represent local residents. Time and again, we hear of this happening. VCAT overruling local wishes and local concerns. And you can't get much more categoric than a unanimous vote against it. Now, this latest move, while controversial, will ensure local voices will be heard, and that's got to be a good thing. 96 900 693 13 13 32. Give us a call. What do you think of this latest measure? Gary Muratero is the No McDonald's in Tacoma protester. Thanks indeed for your time, Gary.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks for having us. There's actually no McDonald's in the Dandenong Ranges, and with Minister Guy's approval of C126 amendments, we've had a huge win today.
Okay, so why do you like this idea so much?
Well, we've always said that what McDonald's wanted to bring to the community didn't fit in at all to the streetscape. Now, the bigger question, of course, and you said it wonderful in your editorial there, that, you know, the council said no. Time and time again, we have people sort of say to us, well, if your council approved it, you should just go away. And we said, well, our council never approved it. So that was the issue. So that if you take the democratic part away from it and just look at the design, the current McDonald's store does not fit in at all. Up here in the Dandenongs, many of the hamlets feature distinct design characteristics. You see things like a lot of timber, natural materials, wide-span pitched roof lines, front gables, etc. This one is just a box that sits on the road. It looks awful, and that's what the council's trying to stop.
Well, now, we did try to speak to the council today, but for some reason they won't speak to us. Why does this give, what power does it actually give them, this latest move?
Well, now they have planning power to reject it. And what it means is if there was, and it may not be McDonald's, let's say it was another organisation, if they went to try to do this thing in the next town up the road, so let's say Olinda, because there's space up there. If they tried to do it in Olinda, they would be discouraged. But if it went to VCAT, VCAT would have a planning ruling to be able to rule on. And that was always the problem with VCAT. They worked within the current planning laws, and that's why it got up.
Okay, so how will that therefore affect what VCAT does?
Well, I think what it'll do is they're going to be able to, it means the council's got a stronger voice. I think that's the first thing. I mean, the council went to VCAT in our situation and gave all the reasons, but they said under the current planning, it was okay. We felt it wasn't. Council felt it wasn't. VCAT said, look at the law. So I think it's what it's going to do. It's going to put more power back to the council, and ultimately that means more power back to the community.
Okay, we'll go to the phone shortly, Gary, but do you consider it a bit of a slap in the face that Tacoma McDonald's has actually been quite successful so far?
Not at all. It was successful on Monday when they gave out hundreds of free food vouchers. 8 o'clock Tuesday morning, it was a different story. There were 30 police and security ringing it, a dozen protesters and one lonely person having breakfast.
What about the weekend, Gary?
It was pretty quiet on the weekend. It certainly had peak times, but McDonald's told us in mediation they need 1,800 transactions a day for that site. They're getting nowhere near that. It's school holidays. They picked the holiday time to do that. It'll slowly peter off. It will be a dud. We've always said that.
Okay then, Gary, thank you very much indeed for your time. Gary Muratore, he is the No McDonald's in Dandenong's protest and probably the protest leader. Bronwyn has